return, and that, you can move past some things that have happened in the past 3 years. A lot of you have survived the Saturn return as well, or the Saturn transit. So things are looking up for this year, okay? And especially starting with this month, I do see new burst of energy coming through. And let's just go into your reading. So I'm using the same spread. I just laid out all the cards ahead of time just to save me time with the shuffling and all of that. These cards are a little bit smaller, so they all fit on screen, and this is how I'm going to do the reading from now on if I use this deck. So same format, clusters, and I just laid out the cards, okay? But before we go into this spread, I'm going to relay information messages that came through for you in the initial shuffle. What I do see is a lot of outdoor events for you guys. So I do see trees, mountains, rivers. So all of these things are like I do see a lot of scenic scenery, a lot of just things passing you by, a lot of like time spent outdoor communicating. And they're saying, which is really strange, communicating with nature. And I feel like you're taking trips, some of you. You are by water, by mountains, by trees. Okay, so I feel like all of these beautiful imagery coming through. And I feel like a lot of you are taking time off sometime this month either to celebrate, but I feel like you're not doing it with a bunch of other people getting together to, go to like a club, a bar. I don't feel it's like a metropole, like a metropolitan city type of landscape. I feel like it's a little bit more rural, a little bit more sparsely populated, and a little bit more natural, like a natural environment. I feel that if you have been, kind of like busy with the daily grind of, trying to maintain your, just if you're working in the city and you feel like a little bit inundated, I feel like getting out back in nature would be beneficial for you as well. And it's going to help you replenish yourself, and especially going to a place with water. You are a water sign. Sometimes you need to be, connected in order to feel grounded, connected to the source in order to feel grounded. What I'm seeing is they're saying there is a trip here, either somebody coming to see you or you taking a trip to see somebody else. And I do feel a sense of geographical distance between you and a person that is quite significant that you're communicating with heavily. I do feel like soulful discussions is what they're saying. Discussions with one other person in a very soulful, in a very deep rooted, in a very profound manner. So I see you talking to somebody, about your feelings, about your deepest, darkest fears, about your secrets. And not that you have secrets, but things that you normally wouldn't tell another person until you know them really well, until you're on like the first name basis. I feel like you're revealing a lot of yourself. Um, I feel some of you might be doing this with a therapist, and others might be doing this with somebody significant, like somebody that you're trying to get to know. So I feel these walls coming down when it comes to your emotional expressions, which is really good. I feel that they're going to give you some insight into some, wisdoms. They're going to provide some profound insights into your motives. So, in the past, you might have been like, I don't know why I keep doing this, or I keep dating these types of people, or I keep finding myself in these patterns, or I can't really break out of my rut, or I feel these blockages. And then the other person is just like, well, here's what here's what my assessment is based on everything that you told me. And they're going to give you some really deep insights, and I feel it's going to be really beneficial for you moving forward. So, it is your birthday time, and I know that, the last few months have. One of the things that you want, I feel like might be beneficial for you to do is, for this month, whatever, if you do believe in, birthday wishes, try to wish for spiritual insights, for spiritual guidance. I feel like you're going to be flooded with it, and it's going to really help you decide on the next phase. Or if you're feeling a little bit stuck, just, when you blow out that candle, just wish for some profound, you know, beneficial, helpful, insightful, spiritual advice. I do feel that it's going to come through for you if you need it, okay? Um, what I'm also feeling is I see you and another person in a house, and I don't know if this is like your a vacation home or like a permanent home, but I see you and another person discussing something about a house, visiting a house, or being in a house. And it seems like it's out in nature. That's what I feel. It's isolated. It seems like it's isolated from, the nearest city. I feel some of you are kind of like in the past. It feels almost as if they are saying you came from a broken home. Okay, like there, I see smoke and I see walls crumbling down, and it feels like that situation left a really deep scar within some of you. So this could be like a childhood home, this can be like a recent marriage, a home, or this can be like a very recent place of living where you have escaped from. So I feel like, there was something in your past, or a lot of you might still be dealing with it. It says a broken home, and you're trying to mend the pieces. And I feel like this is the month in which you are going to be guided as to how to do it. So I feel a lot of deep rooted, feelings coming back up to the surface. And you can either choose to suppress it or, let it wash over you and process it and move forward. So you have some, choices that you need to make here. And I do sense that a lot of you are you're a pretty courageous sign, but I feel like on the emotional realm, a lot of things that from your past might be a little bit uncomfortable. And if they're coming back up, you might not be prepared to deal with it. But I do sense as well that one of the main things, let me see if I can clarify this message here. I feel like, so going back to that home situation, okay? So a lot of the times breakups happen, right? And if we have like abandonment issues, if someone left us or we feel like we had to leave somebody, and we were very, very emotionally invested in the outcome of that situation, and then we feel like, we knew how things were going to turn out, but then, it took a 180 and then something else happened instead. And when something like that happens, it's hard to get over it because we feel like we already, like the outcome was supposed to be like this. Like it's all about control, like controlling for a specific outcome. And I feel a lot of you might have been in that situation where you were so sure that this is how it's going to pan out. And when things didn't go that way, it really made you doubt yourself. It really made you doubt your capabilities, your ability. It really made you doubt, your sense of like, how much do I know if this one thing that I thought was true didn't turn out to be that way? Then what do I have left to believe in? So there is almost like a spiritual crisis. And I feel that, if you have been dealing with that for the past 5 months, if you have been dealing with that even for the past 5 years, you're gonna get some type of awakening, like, the jolt to the system, where it's kind of like, no, enough's enough. I'm not going to let this one setback, interfere with my forward movement. So I feel confidence returning for a lot of you, which is great. I see passion, vitality, and overall your I'm sensing like metabolism as well going getting restored. So that could just be, you're doing a lot of outdoor activities, you're getting more physically active, you're feeling inspired and happy. So overall, I do feel that, all of these things, it's not just a mask that you're putting on. I feel that you're gradually restoring your self-confidence, okay? So those are all the messages. Let's go into this reading here. One of the first things that I have out here, and there's another sign that got the same combination in the same order. So we have the devil as well as the fool. And the devil, let's talk about this first because this is the card that came out first. The devil indicates a situation like an addiction, a situation that kept you down, that kept you hostage, okay? In terms of like on the mundane front, it can indicate, physical addiction to things, to substances, to people. It could also indicate a situation where you might be in a relationship with somebody who had control issues or who had substance abuse issues or who had like some type of emotional manipulation, and they might have you wrapped around their fingers, and it would have been really difficult for you to extract yourself. So I feel like you are in a situation, some of you might have gotten out of it, and a lot of you are still, on the tail end of this, trying to extract yourself and trying to move on. So, this devil energy in this particular deck indicates to me entrapment. It's a situation where you are, stuck or bound to somebody in a material way, and they have a way to lure you back in, like to reel you back in. This can be a boss, this can be a partner, this can be somebody that you're, still you're separated from but still married to, or it can be anybody that you are materially somehow linked up to. So I do feel for a lot of you, this is the month in which you are going to have to confront some types of addiction, addictive personality traits, or even some unhealthy obsessions with certain things. Or if you're dabbling in, like if you're addicted to substances such as, prescription medication, or even ways of thinking, outdated ways of thinking can also be a restriction too with the devil. So all of these things are coming up for re-examination, and I do see this overwhelming sense of like a lot of you might be seeing a therapist, and all of these things are coming up for review, and you're going to be able to shine some light on it, and you're going to realize that it's not just because I'm physically addicted to it. I feel like for a lot of you it was like an emotional coping mechanism. Let's just say you were in a really bad relationship, right, and you stay together for the kids, and then one partner or the other starts drinking as a way to escape the mundane. And I feel like a lot of you might have resorted to this because once you commit yourself to something, you give it your all, and you try your best to stay in it, and you might have adopted quite a few unhealthy habits as a result of wanting to cope in that situation, to make that situation bearable. And if this is not something that you're dealing with, it's somebody in your midst that is dealing with this as well. For others of you, I feel like there might have been some tension or stress coming through, and it's making you crave whatever it is that you might be addicted to. So it could be a person, it could be, like relationship partners that were very, very, relationships, overall patterns that were very, very tumultuous, but through that emotional roller coaster, it can become an addiction. So I feel like, all of these things are coming up for examination, and I feel that you're finding ways to find balance within yourself and to at least overcome it and not let it overcome you. So it's great energy. Some of you might be going back to a previous bad habit. So be very careful about, the tendency to, sometimes it's our birthday time. We want to go out and have a good time. And we might think about like, oh, it's only one day of the year, so it's okay if I do this on my birthday. So that I see that coming through. And I feel like Scorpios have really good self-control in general, but I feel here with the Fool card and the Devil, it's kind of like knowingly rushing into something that you know is not good for you. So be careful about that. I feel like a few of you might be tempted by this, and I do feel it might be on the relationship front, okay? So what I feel coming through as well is if this is a person that you're going back to, there's going to be contact, or they're the first one to solicit something from you. Like they're the first one to reach out. And I feel like, if you would re-engage, you're going to end up with disappointment, like just a few days later. So I feel like things are not what it seems. You're hoping for the best, but you're going to end up disappointed. So if it's a previous relationship partner, be very careful. There is a sense here of entrapment, and I feel like you're walking right into it. And you want to be a few steps ahead of your opponent. And so I feel like this situation is not going to pan out in your favor. And then others of you are walking away from purely addictive, traits or just bad habits overall. So I feel like overall, things are being balanced out for majority of you, whereas a few of you are still succumbing to this energy and letting it overtake you. So the second cluster here is the Justice card with the Five of Cups. The Five of Cups is a situation where it deals with a lot of regrets. It deals with a lot of contemplation, wondering what ifs, and thinking about, if we had done something differently, how would the outcome have been different? So it's sort of like that whole period of like uncertainty. If you knew for sure and you knew it wasn't going to work no matter what you did, then you can move on. But the fact is, like, sometimes we're not supposed to know, and sometimes we don't know. We just have to at least understand that this is not healthy. I need to move on to something that is healthier for me. So I feel like a lot of you are letting go of bad relationships that were very codependent and very toxic. It could also be friends as well. I'm seeing a lot of people getting rid of old friends and, isolating yourself, or at least whittling down your social networks and your social circle. So something didn't pan out. I feel like this month you might be tempted to go back to it, give it one last try. And then a few days later, a few weeks later, you're going to realize it's not working out. I feel everything is happening within the same month. So if you need that last bit of confirmation, by all means do it. But I feel like it's just, this is pretty much like, that last nail on the coffin. And you're going to be able to sail past it, okay? What's linked up here is the Justice card. And the Justice card usually indicates to me when it comes out, depending on what it's with and what's close to it, it basically indicates to me like, some type of like clearing up of karma where you can free yourself. Clearing up of karma so that you no longer need to deal with this regrets from the past, and you can finally get the closure you need in order to move forward, okay? And I definitely feel for a lot of you, you are hitting a point where you are dealing with people who are very righteous, who are very balanced, and you're not going to have to worry where you stand with them anymore. In the past, you might have been in this, codependent, toxic type of situation. It's clearing itself up, and as a result, you're able to move forward. The other thing that I'm feeling here is, the Five of Cups deals with with the devil. These things deals with severe alcohol, overconsumption of alcohol, drinking, and things like that. The Justice card deals with the legal system. You want to be a little bit careful if you're driving this month. Try to take a cab, take an Uber car. Do something to minimize the risk associated with that as well. So, keep that in mind, okay? So what I'm feeling as well is we do have a lot of communication with the third cluster here. It deals with a lot of communication coming from you to another person. And we do have here the Hermit, which is all about, re-examining our motives, our intentions, looking at the past situation through the lens of wisdom, insight, and objectivity, so that we can, once and for all, scrap it and then move forward. Okay, so I feel like there's a lot of communication. Somebody is like asking you a lot about the past. Like, hey, when you were a kid, what did you do when you were 15, when you were 30, so on. So I feel like somebody is kind of like bringing up these things from the past to ask you questions. And I don't feel that they're being nosy, but there's a lot of communication, like nostalgia for the past, and people coming through reminiscing about the past. And I feel like at this point, a lot of you might tend to clam up because you want to move on. You're looking back at the past, and you're just like, yes, it was fun, but it seemed to me like it was a little bit empty and it was a little bit problematic. So all of these things, all of these, people coming through, reminiscing about the past, reminding you of the past, I feel like it's a good trip down memory lane for you to realize, how far you've come, where you were, when you were younger and where you are now, and to realize that you have survived a lot of ordeals. You have survived a lot of difficulties, and that all of these things, yes, they suck when they happen, but as a result of it, you are able to grow from it, and you have a lot of good insights and wisdom right now. So there's a lot of things here that indicates to me, looking back at the past and not playing victim, but thinking about like, what lessons did I extract from that, and how is that going to help me succeed in the future. Okay, so the last cluster here deals with the Queen of Swords, and this might be somebody that you are communicating with very, very heavily. So the Queen of Swords can be a male or a female, an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra, Sun, Moon, or Rising. And I'm feeling like this is somebody that is going to provide some type of, they're going to pave the way for you in some way to succeed. And by succeed, I mean this can be financially. So this can be a boss. This can be somebody in your work environment. This can be somebody that you are learning a lot from, you're getting a lot of insights from, or you're interacting with on an everyday level, like in a work environment. This can also be a person that is traveling to see you as well, you traveling to see them. There's a lot of communication back and forth between you and this person. And I feel like there's a sense of optimism, there's a sense of adventure, a sense of adventure associated with the way that you both interact, the way you both behave around each other. I'm drawn to the Chariot here, and the Chariot card is a card of success, it's a card of victory, and it's a card of two opposing energies working harmoniously together in order to move along in the same manner. So I feel like you and this person, there are actually a lot of differences between the two of you. So it's like, night and day. We have the white horse and the black horse. So as is the nature of an air sign, I feel like you and this person might not have, like you might not want the same things in life. You might not approach things the same way, and you just might not be, generally not very compatible. You might not want the same things. However, I feel like there is good, solid communication here, and I feel like, the soulful communication from the initial message came back through. So I feel like there is a situation here where opposites attract, and you both are going to work together in a harmonious manner, not in a boring way where if things are too compatible, I feel like it's not as exciting. But I feel like there's a lot of excitement, there's a lot of like intellectual, mental, emotional rapport coming through, and both parties have to like find ways to navigate around each other in order to succeed. But I feel like it's a positive energy. um this might have been, for some of you, this might have been somebody that you were linked up to, either emotionally, like an ex spouse even, and they're on their guard. I mean, like, this is not somebody that takes things lying down. So I feel like whatever you throw at them, they're going to question it, not in a cynical way. Some of them can be cynical, but I feel like they're not going to take things lying down, so they might ask questions. So I feel like this can be an ex, this can be an in-law, this can be a therapist as well, is what I'm feeling. And for some of you, it can be a romantic partner and you're moving things along. They're either coming to see you. There's a lot of communication here. And I feel like the interaction or, the connection between the two of you is really helping you come to terms with some situation in the past, so that you can process it and that you can make sense of it. So I feel like they're giving you some really good insights to allow you to move forward and to succeed. Now, in terms of your advice, what I'm feeling here, we have the Knight of Cups, the Page of Swords, and the Ace of Rods. Um, First of all, I feel like you're following the trail of somebody here, okay? So if the Knight of Cups is you, the Page of Swords is somebody else, Ace of Rods is like new projects and things like that. It just seems like you're following the trail of somebody. Somebody is like blazing the trail. You're hot on their tail, and I feel like there's a lot of passion here. Ace of Rods is new energy, new beginnings, as well as new potential for a lot of growth in leadership capabilities, in creative endeavors, in work as well, and also in, revival, in passion. So there's definitely some element here about two people being very different. It's like the scheme, the color schemes are very different. Like they hail from two different environment, two different worlds, and I feel like there's a lot of passion generated here. But I feel like throughout this union, you are the one that's pushing things along, and the other person has like too much on their plate. So I feel like your roads right now are converging, your paths are converging. Maybe later on it will start to diverge, but I feel like right now, for the moment, it is stable and it is something very positive for you. Okay, so they're pretty much saying that new projects are coming in. Um, be a little bit critical about it and ask questions, do preliminary research before you accept it, okay? But either way, you have new energies coming through. A lot of you have been through a lot. You might be cynical, but I feel like this is something that is going to be like a very fruitful new venture for you. There are travel opportunities too. For those of you who are thinking about that, I do feel it coming through for this month. So hi Scorpios, we are doing your love, romance, relationship reading for the month. Oh, you have a lot of jumpers. What I'm going to do is pass through it one more time. Sorry for the delay, but I feel like sometimes it helps because there's a lot of information here, like different information. Right here. Okay, so let's talk about the past, and the past will let you know whether or not, the rest of the reading will even be applicable, okay? In the past position, we have here the Page of Coins, and the Page of Coins is basically new jobs, new assignments that is able to help you overcome financial difficulties, and it's going to I feel like in that line, if you were financially like in a situation where you were worried about how you're going to make ends meet and how you're going to be able to take care of yourself, let alone, branch out and date other people and incorporate other people into your life. I do feel that for a lot of you, the financial situation for this year is looking a lot better. And as a result of it, you are sailing over financial difficulties. You're no longer operating from that base survival chakra, and you're no longer putting your life on hold, like your love life on hold, mainly because you have the financial resources in order to be like invite other people into your life, in order to take care of your partner, and in order to overcome a lot of these difficulties that have been plaguing you in the past, in not being able to attract good relationship partners because of self-esteem issues, or because of financial entanglements between you and exes and ex-spouses or ex-boyfriends, girlfriend, whatever the situation is. So I feel like financial independence is finally allowing you opportunities to attract more like-minded people that can be more stable relationships, partners for you. What I'm sensing as well is a lot of you might have been separated, but I feel like you might have lived together in the same house. And I feel like that really interfered with your dating life. And I feel like, of course it would, weird living arrangements with exes is not good for your dating prospects, okay? So I feel like a lot of you might have been going through that. You're trying to get your life in order, you're trying to get your own space, and you're trying to accumulate a lot of money. You might have put your love life on hold in order to, have the time to devote to career and to, work a lot of hours in order to create this abundance, okay? For others of you, you might have been dealing with an earth sign, a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn. And I feel like in this situation, a lot of you might have sailed away from it, okay? I feel for some of you, you realize that they were taking their sweet time and they were trying to, look at other options. So I feel like, yes, they want to build a future, but I feel like, they're trying to decide between multiple options. This is somebody who I feel classically, they like to work with their hands, and they're very, very good, like very playful, great sense of humor, like to play like games, not in a bad way, but I feel like they like to play games, and I feel like their their eyes dart back and forth, and that it leads me to believe like they might have the wandering eyes. Okay, so you were dealing with a Capricorn or a Taurus or a Virgo in your past. A lot of you have sailed away from it, and a lot of you are moving on to new people. So a few of you might be newly single. A few of you might be, still having this. A few of you might have like cord of attachment, still lingering with this Earth sign, which brings us to the present moment. We have the Four of Coins, the Strength card, and the Seven of Wands. So the Four of Coins. Give me 1 second. So sorry about that. So we have the Four of Coins, the Strength card, and the Seven of Wands. And one of the things I'm feeling here is the Four of Coins indicates a situation where somebody is holding on very, very protectively to their feelings. They're guarding their heart, they're guarding their values, and they're really refusing to budge, okay? It can be positive or negative. Like standing up for the things that you believe in is always a good thing. However, if you are like so fixed that you're not able to change yourself accordingly to adapt to your environment or to adapt to new people or to allow, an alternative way of doing to come through that might even be better from what you're used to. This is a card about resisting change. It's linked up here with the Strength card, and I feel like for a lot of you, you're dealing with an energy of somebody who is very, very brave, very courageous. They might have been through, they might have had like a lot of adventures, a lot of life experience under their belt, and as a result of it, I feel like there is an element here of attraction, but almost like a challenge as well. They're challenging your belief system. And I feel like, every time I see the strength card, I think about two people who really are attracted to one another, but they're like different species. They don't really have that much in common. So that's normally how I interpret this card. It's a card about seduction as well. It's a card about like releasing or at least activating that animal side, the animalistic instincts within us. So where we feel like we are very physically attracted to somebody, but they're so different that you might have trouble, getting things off the ground or communicating with one another, or even like they're so different from you that it's going to require a lot of changes in your value system, and you're not really sure how you want to proceed. What's coming through as well as the Seven of Wands, and the Seven of Wands is a situation where you have to defend your beliefs. You have to like stand up for the other person. So what I'm feeling is a lot of you are in a position or interacting with somebody where there is a lot of like opposition. And it leads me to believe that, you have different values, you have different belief system, and I feel like I don't feel arguments coming through. For some of you, there might be arguments with, somebody that you feel is kind of fixed in their ways. You yourself are very fixed, and I feel like it's kind of like arguments, opposition, where you have to be, you have. It's not like you're on guard, but you have to defend your beliefs and why you feel a certain way because the other person is going to ask questions. So let's look at the foundation here. And the foundation are things that you know to be true. We have the Four of Wands, which indicates like some type of a marriage, type of a situation. This is kind of like living together, getting married, getting hitched, moving in together, or people moving out of the household. I feel for a lot of you, there is a person here that you're dealing with, okay? So we have here the King of Wands, which is a fire sign, a Sagittarius, an Aries, or a Leo that maybe they have like some type of lingering attachments where they have like an ex or something that they're still sharing space with, and they're trying to break free from it. And this might be the month in which they are breaking free. They're traveling light, and as a result of it, I feel that they're on the dating market, and you might encounter this person on your journey. I also feel earlier when I mentioned like I see you and another person in a house. I feel like it might be this person here. You might be moving in together. You might be trying to take the relationship to the next level. They are somebody that is very easily excited, and they're very like willing to start things. So I feel like they're moving something along so that you both can be together. A lot of you might be moving out of where you're living, and then you're coming to see this person. You're traveling or you're moving along to see this person. So Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, or Rising. And this person is coming through again later on. But let's talk about your crowning energy. The crowning energy is something that you're thinking about. It's heavily on your mind. We have the Ace of Cups. This is brand new beginnings in love. We have the Six of Wands, which is, victory when it comes to like getting very positive reception, getting, it's like winning something. So, for example, if you are eyeing somebody or if you are in hot pursuit of somebody, this is the month in which you might realize that they feel the same way. So you're going to be the one person that is going to be the object of their affection. Okay, so I feel like there is something here where it's indicating like an escalation in emotional fulfillment. Some things are being taken to the next level, and we do have the Hermit as well, in which you both are retreating together, possibly to spend alone time together, or you both are kind of like I feel for a lot of you, you're attracted to a fire sign, and that has a lot of suitors. And then this is the month in which they are making time for you to spend alone with you exclusively. So I feel like a lot of you are kind of like cocooning, like going off together, and kind of like going to a place that's not sparsely populated. So that's not densely populated, excuse me. So I feel like you're taking some time off in order to do these things with with the other person that you really like or really care for. So we have a lot of good energies coming through here. What's coming through in your future position? We have the High Priestess, the Queen of Wands, and the Page of Cups. Okay, so this is quite interesting because I feel like the High Priestess basically means that whole unveiling process, coming, be like, stumbling across some type of information that gives you a lot of clarity and insight into a specific situation that you've been wondering about. Okay, so stumbling across some information. This card in this deck also indicates to me like somebody that is, you're dealing with somebody who is very, very psychic, very spiritually evolved, full of wisdom, and I feel like they generally, have a very, very good sense of self. They have a very strong moral compass. They have a very, very strong sense of self. So you have a lot of spiritual energy that is coming through in your love sector here with the Hermit and the High Priestess, and it's pretty much urging you have to do things a different way. So that means opening yourself up to a partner rather than closing yourself off. You need to start opening up, and you need to have more conversations about values, about fears, about anxieties, about what makes us human. You have to start to open up, because I feel like in the past you might have clammed up. You might have been just very like like some of you may be controlling as well. And I feel like that might have made your partner feel a little bit isolated. It's kind of like you ask questions to get at the truth about other people, but when they do the same for you, you clam up, and that's not fair, and they feel like that's not fair. And I feel as well there might be some control issues from past relationships, either coming from the partner to you or you to the partner, and it isolated both parties. So, one of the things that you need to do for this month especially is try to open yourself up to your romantic interest. Ask questions, reveal a little bit more of yourself. It doesn't make you vulnerable, it just makes you a lot more attractive. So I feel that that's something you need to do. And likewise, you're dealing with somebody who has very strong, intuitive, like very strong sense of intuition, and they can glean a lot of information from very, very small snippets of conversation. So you're dealing with somebody who is very, very strongly, I would say, like almost clairvoyant. It's linked up here with Queen of Wands as well as the Page of Cups, okay? So first of all, I feel for some of you, especially the people who are dating women, especially those of you dating women. We have here the Queen of Wands. So a lot of you might be, and this person's coming out again, might be dealing with a fire sign again, but the energy is a little bit different. So an Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius. This is potentially somebody with children, okay? And you might come across this information. This is somebody who wants to have children, and I feel like they're going to make that quite clear to you as well if you're dealing with them. And I also feel like a lot of you have gotten out of like marriages recently, and you're dealing with this person, and this person wants a family. This person wants a serious relationship, I feel. And what you're going to realize is that they're they're a lot more serious about you than you might be about them. I hope that makes sense. So for some of you in particular, if you're dealing with like a fire sign female, okay, sun, moon, or rising, and I feel like this is you. What you're bringing to the table is the Page of Cups, which is, still a childlike energy. You're keeping other options open, and you're giving this person your attention for today. Whereas they're giving all of themselves to you to nurture you. And I feel like this is somebody who's very loving, very generous, very giving of herself or himself. And you might start to realize this month how the depth of their feelings and how much of themselves they're willing to give to you in order to accommodate you. And I feel like it's going to make you feel good, but it's going to be very revealing when you realize how devoted they are to you, and you realize that you might not be able to match them where you are right now, or you might conclude that you might not be able to match them where they are in the future. So then either way, this is a dilemma in which you're going to have to, decide on what you want to do, because I feel like this is a very serious person. They are very into you, and you need to decide if this is not somebody that you can lead on. So if you're dealing with this and it sounds familiar, I feel like your options are open. You're keeping yourselves open. You're not really seeing one person exclusively, and this person is very, very, I feel like, sincere. They're ready to go. So just whatever you want to do, they're all game. But I feel like they're a lot more serious about you than you are about them, and you need to be careful about not hurting other people and things like that. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Scorpio, you have some very great choices that are coming through, and I do feel like you're dealing with somebody where there's a lot of opposition. You're a water sign, and I see like fire signs coming out very strongly. So you're dealing with somebody who's going to question your values, which is fine. I feel like a little bit of conflict every now and then, and then like having to defend yourself, that's always good for a robust relationship anyways. So I do wish you all reading. Take care of yourself. Bye bye.